So today we're going to be implementing our engineering design challenge or our vehicle challenge. So in these challenges, there are no set instructions. It's more for the kids to come up with their own way of building something. And what we're going to show you is how to make a specific version of this in case your students aren't sure where to start. So we are going to be mechanical engineers today to create a unique vehicle. And we're going to use a variety of concepts to build a vehicle that can move forward using different supplies.
Now that we know what we're making, let's see what materials we can use for our unique vehicle. You should have one 3-volt motor, 2 AA batteries, one AA battery holder, 2 balloons, one 3-inch copper tape. Let me find it right here. 2 large popsicle sticks, 2 metal rods, one 4-blade propeller, 2 paper straws, 4 plastic wheels, 6 small popsicle sticks, 2 medium rubber bands, and lastly, 4 double-sided tape squares. Once we have all these materials, we can start building our car.
So remind your students that today they will be building a prototype or a model of a larger vehicle that they might want to create in the future. Before the students start building, ensure that they have a viable plan and design drawn out in their blueprint worksheet. We want to use these blueprints as a guide for their prototype, so encourage them to be creative and use as little or as many materials that they have to help their car move forward. So I'm going to show you kind of, if your students don't know where to get started, you can show them how to build this specific vehicle, or you can just, if they already have their own ideas, they can just kind of start on their own. So for our purposes, we're going to be showing you how to make a vehicle that looks a little like a triangle and uses a motor to power it up. So what we're thinking for our blueprint is that our car is going to be made out of popsicle sticks. And we want it to be in the shape of a triangle. Now in the back, we do want to have 2 wheels. And then in the front, we're going to have 1 wheel that's going to be powered up by a motor. And that's how it's going to work. So now that we have a general design, we're going to place our blueprint to the side. And I'm going to start by building the base. So I'm going to use these 3 popsicle sticks to form a triangle. And we do want this bottom piece to be slightly shorter than the rest. It's going to look something like this. And we're going to use 1 piece of double-sided tape. We're going to cut that into 4 equal pieces. And we're going to use these pieces to hold each corner together. I'm going to peel this off. Hold it down for a couple seconds. Then peel the other one off. And then hold it for a couple seconds. And then do the same thing for the other 2 corners. Right, so something like this. So now that we have a base for our car, we're going to put that to the side and we're going to start making the axles using our metal rod, our straw, and some wheels. So we're going to start off by cutting the straw in half. And what we want is the metal rod should be sticking out from both sides of the straw. If it's not, then we're going to go ahead and cut it shorter until it does. Something like this. Then we're going to go ahead and attach our two wheels. You see the wheels have a hole in the middle. I like to kind of put one gently on there. Like this. And then add the second one. Line it up. And then now that you have both, you can squeeze it. You don't want to squeeze it with just one wheel because you risk kind of poking your hand with the metal rod. So I like to put both on, and then way to test to see if it's good to go is if you grab the straw with one hand. With your other hand, you're going to go ahead and spin the wheels, and they should keep spinning freely. If not, then we need to cut our straw shorter so that the wheels don't get stuck. So this is going to be one axle of the car. What we're going to do next is we're going to tape it onto our car like this. So the back wheels are just going to be on here with an axle, and then we're going to try to attach a front wheel using a motor. So to attach the axle, we're going to go ahead and grab another piece of double-sided square. We'll flip this over. We're going to place it in the middle of our straw like this. We're going to peel off the other paper. And then place our axle on the body of our car. And we do want these wheels to be sticking out, so that's why we kind of have it in this corner here. Now what I like to do is flip it over and then just kind of hold it for like 10 seconds. And once we have that on there, we're going to work on getting a wheel somewhere up here to get it to actually move with our motor. So in order to do that, we're going to grab our motor. We're going to grab a third wheel and we're going to place it on our motor shaft like this. You kind of got to wiggle it on there. And then we're going to place another piece of double-sided tape on our motor. I like to put it on the side that has these holes. That way we don't accidentally get it on our wires and then pull them off. So we're going to do it on this side. Hold it for a couple seconds. Peel it off and then place it on one edge of our car, maybe like right about here. We're going to hold it. And then it's going to look something like this. Alright, so now to power up this motor, we're going to go ahead and grab our battery holder. Make sure the switch is in the off position. We're going to flip it over to the back where it has this hole, and we're going to slide it open. We're going to place our AA batteries in here. Make sure you're lining up positive to positive and negative to negative. Oops, and we're going to close up our battery holder. And then using another piece of double-sided tape, we're going to stick it on the side that has this hole. And then we're going to place it on the body of our car to kind of balance it out a little bit. We might need to put it closer to the back. And then once we do that, we're going to connect our wires together using some copper tape. So let's start with our positive wires, which are the two red ones. We're going to place them both together, facing the same direction. And I'm going to use this bendy one to kind of wrap it around the other one. And that's going to help keep it in place while I add my copper tape. Then we're going to go over to our negative wires, or the two black ones, and we're going to do the same thing. Wrap one around the other. And then use a second piece of copper tape. And it'll end up looking something like this. All right, let's go ahead and test. So for this one, since we have our battery holder, all we gotta do is turn it on. And if it doesn't work, then there are a couple things we want to check in our circuit. First, we want to double check that our batteries are in correctly. So we can just slide this out. Make sure we have positive to positive, negative to negative. If those are incorrectly, then we just need to double check our copper tape. Make sure that these are kind of pinched in, the connections are all there. And then we can talk about how to change the direction in which it's moving and things like that. So in this project, the car that we built uses electrical energy and turns that into kinetic energy, which spins this wheel and in turn spins the wheel in the back. Since we only have one wheel in the front and it's off-centered, that's why we see that it kind of starts to turn in a circle. So everyone's car in this project is going to be different. So some things you can ask your students are maybe, where is the energy coming from in your car? How can you make it use a different type of energy based on the things that we didn't use? How can we increase the speed, and maybe would it move differently if it's on a different surface? Additionally, something that you can bring up is also the cost to produce the car. So since we're only using one front wheel, it would be cheaper to make it, but we are in turn using a motor and some batteries versus maybe using like a rubber band, which would also change the price. So you want to get your students kind of thinking about, since this is a prototype, how would it change when we actually build a big one in real life?